Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're doing Swedish meatballs. Let's get started. First, you're going to take about a half a cup of finely diced onions and a tablespoon of olive oil. And we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic. You can use fresh or the garlic. Get them nice and tender, and then we're going to set them to the side to cool off for later. You're going to take 1 large egg, and you're going to whisk it up. And to that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, which if you have clumps in it, like I do, you just break them up. Then we're going to add a half a cup of breadcrumbs. You can use just regular or the panko. I actually use the seasoned breadcrumbs. Add a little more flavor. And we're going to add a 1/3 cup of milk. And this isn't shown, but we put a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon each of dried oregano, ground allspice, ground nutmeg, and pepper. And we're going to whisk that all together before we add ground beef. I used 1 pound of all ground beef. You can substitute and use part ground beef, part pork, but I only had ground beef on hand, so that's what we decided to use. And also you would add your cooled onions and garlic at this point. And you're just going to mix this all together. I like to use my hands or hand because that gets it all nicely mixed. And use your small cookie scooper and scoop them out, roll them, and just place them in a pan because we're going to put that in the fridge to chill for 15 minutes. And while that's chilling, we're going to make our sauce. So I like to use the Better Than bouillon. So I start with 2 cups of hot water and then 1 teaspoon of the beef broth. Nope, 2 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon of the chicken, or you could just use 1 cube, like a bouillon cube. And add 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, a teaspoon of the Dijon mustard. You can use mustard powder if you don't have the mustard. And a teaspoon of the dried parsley. And you're going to mix that all up together and set that to the side.
Make it Swedish. Remember I used to make them when you were little.
And then we're going to have a medium-high pan after the meatballs chilled for 15 minutes and start cooking them up with the other tablespoon of olive oil. Cook them about 1 minute on each side. Some people here like to use chopsticks to turn the meatballs. We tried it, but I just stick with the spatula. Once they're done, you take them out of the pan, and we're going to melt our butter. 4 tablespoons of butter. Then we're going to add 4 tablespoons of flour and make a roux. That's all a roux is butter and flour. And then you're going to cook that around until it starts to turn brown. And what that does is it cooks out the taste of the flour. So your sauce won't taste like flour. It'll have the yummy nuttiness of the flour because you browned it with the butter. Good time if you're serving over noodles. Start your noodles. Just a pot with salted water and noodles. Cook them for 8 to 10 minutes. We like the wide egg noodles. Now we're going to slowly add that beef broth mixture that we put together earlier. And you're going to bring that to a boil. Just make sure it gets all combined. Looks lumpy at first with the butter flour mixture trying to get it in there. So you make the good gravy sauce. Then you're going to have to temper your sour cream, because if you put the sour cream directly in there, it's going to curdle. So you take your sour cream and you put it in a separate bowl. It's going to be a half a cup of sour cream that should already be at room temperature. Just checking the noodles. And then you're going to slowly add some of the hot sauce to your sour cream. Like I said, that's called tempering. And you're just going to slowly mix that in to try to bring the sour cream to the same temperature before you put that in the pot. Because the last thing you want is to have curdled sour cream in your sauce. That won't taste very good. Once you get that all mixed together, then you add it into your sauce and whisk it together. And then that'll be your finished sauce. Some people might say it doesn't look appetizing, but it does taste good. Again, try to scrape it all, get all the goodness in there. Once you get that all together, gets back up to temperature, you put your meatballs back in. And then you're going to put your heat down to low heat, and you're going to let that sit for about 10-15 minutes. Let it finish cooking. I like pepper, so I added a little more pepper. You should always taste as you go along and adjust your seasonings to your liking. So if you want a little bit more of something, then just go ahead and add it. It's your meal, your dinner, your rules. I was teasing saying I've never been to IKEA to taste their Swedish meatballs, so I might just have to do that so I can do a comparison. And then after you wait the 15 minutes, drain your noodles. Have them ready. And just add your meatballs and sauce on top. I always like to add a little more salt and pepper. You can also mix your noodles right in the pot and then just serve it all mixed up. But this way I like, because there you go. This way I like it because you can control how much sauce that you're putting on top of your noodles at first. This is what I do with the leftovers, so the next day the sauce is all soaked up into the noodles and it's extra delicious.
And this way you get more sauce. This way the noodles will soak up the sauce.
So either way, noodles first and then everything, or just mix it all together. Your choice. Very good.
It's good. You know what it tastes like?
Just like I remember.
Swedish meatball.
I said it tastes like a Swedish meatball.
That's really good.
Bon appetit.